This small piece of land made me 36,000 in a month. And how possible was it? Let me explain to you. But first, before we go there, let us first consider our nursery bed. Now, before we move on to farming, we must make sure that we have our nursery bed. And these nursery bed, they must be prepared using manure so that we can have healthy plant. And then from there, now we can now move to preparing our 50 by 100 piece of land. The land should be well prepared with a good drainage. Now, before you get excited, wait, let us first consider the variety that we are planting. The variety that we are using here is black nightshade. The black nightshade usually have a conspicuous appearance, and one of those conspicuous thing is the berry. The berry usually turn black when they are ripe. Now, from there, let us move to our land, our main garden. We need to make furrows using spacing of 30 centimeter between rows. And then after that, when you're transplanting, we're going to use 20 centimeter between plants. Now, what matters here is our plants population. In our nursery bed, we must make sure that we have 3,500 plants that is suitable to feed our 50 by 100 piece of land. And then these are seedlings. We must make sure that they're not infested with diseases or insects. Now, because they're healthy, we're now going to proceed to the transplanting phase. And here, you have just transplanted. And something to note here is that during transplanting, make sure that you do it late in the evening so as to avoid scorching from the sun. If you skip this, my friend, you're going to lose your entire crop, in turn losing your money and profit. Remember, our aim is to achieve a population of 3,500 plants. And this you cannot achieve by buying your seedlings from seedlings vendor. You're going to make a loss because by just raising your nursery bed, you're going to cut the cost by 90%, which is a good start for profit making. We have just transplanted. We're now moving to a serious stage that you need to follow me closely so that you cannot miss anything in turn losing your profit. Now, after transplanting, 1 week after transplanting, we need to add manure, as you can see displayed in the video, and also add basal fertilizer. In our case, we're going to use DAP because it's more recommendable. Now, after that, your plant will start picking up, and then after 14 days, we're going to spray your plant with foliar feed and also spray against pests and diseases. At this point, your plant will have a better kickstart in the 21 days maturity. Now at 21 days old, what we need to consider is now the plants are fully matured, the shoot has been fully formed, and it has formed Y division. Now at this moment and this point, we need to move to the next phase of vegetative phase. And before we move to that phase, we usually cut the main shoot just slightly below the Y division as indicated in the video. After that, we will move to the vegetative phase. This phase usually happens between 21 days to 35 days after transplanting. Yeah, alright. I am glad you are at it. money. Let us talk money. Now, at this phase, we're very confident to talk about money because we can see the lateral shoots, also called the side branches, have been formed after performing the main thing. And many people miss here because they don't cut the main shoot. They leave the plant to overgrow and in turn forming the seeds early. So that is the risk phase. So for you to get it right, you must follow closely and never make a mistake there, because most farmers usually make a mistake here. Now, because you got it right, you did cut the main shoot. Now we can see there are several side branches. And then at this place, we usually do revenue execution. In this place is where we're going to realize our profit. And the profit is very simple and sweet because this Managu is a wonder plant. Now, before I talk about money, don't forget to spray against pests and diseases on a weekly basis or even after 14 days. Some usually spray after 10 days, depending on your pocket and your market. Some market don't prefer chemical-based crops, so they prefer people to use less chemical. Now, let us move to money. Let us remember our target. Our target was to make sure that at the end of this video, we have been able to attain, or rather achieve the 36,000 in a month. And also, our piece of land should be 50 by 100. And as we discussed earlier, we were talking about the population of our plants, and then we said it was 3,500 population. And with that, let me show you how we get this money. These side branches, as you can see, that being mentioned, that are what makes our money. In Kenyan market, usually when the price is high, one branch is equal to 1 shilling. So if a branch is a shilling, you do your mathematics. For example, in our case here, you find that you can have one plant can contain up to 14 side branches. That is when you have left the crop to fully attain 35 days old. If a branch is a shilling, a single branch is equal to a shilling. Now, suppose in our case we have 14 side branches. Let us be fair. Let us say that in old selling price, our plant can make us 3 shillings, and in retail price, our plant can make us 10 shillings per week. Now, if you do a mathematics using the low end is 3 shillings. That is when you harvest all the 10 branches and you do all selling, you're going to sell at a minimum of 3 shillings in a single plant. So, multiply by the number of plants, that is population, in our 50 by 100 piece of land. Now in this case, let us assume that the 500 plants are meant to be for security reasons. Let us use 3,000 plants. So we use 3,000 multiplied by 3 shillings per plant. We get that is 9,000 per week. And a month contains 4 weeks. So 4 times 9,000 is equal to 36,000. You're there now. 36,000 in a month from a 50 by 100 piece of land. Please If you are interested in this content, we are preparing the next content about value crops, and so that you cannot miss out, please subscribe so that you can continue earning profit in this channel. Feel free to comment, feel free to do your research and share with us. We are happy to answer.